Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Dan.
And I'm Lance.
And today we were working on a 7.3 Powerstroke, 1996. Sucker's got a lot of miles on it, 334,000. It's time for a rebuild. We've got a blown head gasket, but we don't know what kind of wear and tear is on this engine. We have not had it very long. And from the looks of it, every time I drive it, something breaks. Yeah, so we don't know how rough someone's treated it. So we're gonna just dig into this engine. We're gonna find out, but we're gonna show you guys what's going on as we get into it. Let's go. All right, so for a little bit of background, while Lance is setting up, we're getting our tables and our tools ready to go. I was driving up a big old hill, had a lawnmower trailer behind me, and then all of a sudden we start bellowing this white smoke. I mean, like chugga, 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 and just like all this white smoke. I took a video of the aftermath. I forced it to get up the hill, and then it just died. I mean, the smoke was like enormous, and you can see I spilled some coolant here at one point before I had to fix that. And what I said about the oil and the coolant, it's textbook head gasket, so that's what we know what it is. We're probably gonna end up getting send the heads to the machine shop. We're gonna do stud kit, head gasket kit, and yeah, and that should cover it. We'll see what else we run into, but to start, we'll probably take the hood off for extra clearance. Then we'll take the air intake off, maybe the entire box, our turbo setup here, and then other things. It's a very easy engine. That's the good part, because head gaskets, depending on the engine, can be really, really hard. Like for another truck we did, we had to take the entire engine out. And but this one should be pretty straightforward. Not gonna have to get a lot out the way, but we'll just take it as it goes. So let's get into it. All right, so Lance is over here disconnecting the battery. We're gonna start with the air intake, and we're just gonna go from there and see what all we gotta do and just figure it out. All right, so we've got the air intake boot off to the turbo here. My side's gonna be a lot easier. Lance's side's gonna be a little more difficult. we're just getting stuff out of the way at this point. It's gonna be probably these vacuum lines, these AC lines, the compressor, this coolant hose that runs from the top of the radiator down to the thermostat, and may or may not take this box off. This stuff should just, yeah, we've got wire harnesses here. We're gonna just unclip, zip tie out of the way. We're gonna be getting lots of electrical to be disconnected and turbo off. And if we're lucky, we might put a bigger one on before we're done, but we'll see how it all goes, what all's actually wrong with it before we start replacing unnecessary stuff. We'll get to it.
All right, on this side, we gotta get this alternator off. It's gonna be in the way for these heads. We gotta take these water pump hoses off. We gotta get the dipstick off, solenoid off. We might have to take the turbo off. We don't know quite yet, but we will know here in a little bit if it's gonna be in our way. And then we might have to take this AC box off.
Look in there at those lifters. Rusty. You see that? All right, so we've got our airbox off. We've got our intakes for our turbo. Our turbo's standing alone as it is. We've got the AC compressor off. You can see the 4 bolts here. We've got some sensors unplugged for that. There's this wiring right here that goes to the, we'll just break that real quick. And then that goes in there, and then there's one for over here we unplugged. A couple more things that we need to do. We need this harness out of the way. We're gonna unplug this real quick. We're gonna take this tube, get it the frick out of here, and this one. And then we're gonna start messing with our valve cover. And then we'll be getting into after we get to that, turbo's probably gonna come off. All this stuff, pretty much. I shouldn't lie, there's a lot of stuff that's gotta come off still. But we're at the valve area. But then for the actual head to pull off, there's a good amount of disconnecting still, but it's a lot of just electrical and the turbo and maybe a few things right here. We'll see. That's where we're at. I'm gonna keep plugging away. All right, so a note I wanna make, bring this in here. For this electrical harness, I'm trying to get this out of the way, and what I discovered, there's like a couple clips you have to undo, and I totally broke them, but that's okay, because what I had to figure out is there's this cap that comes off back here. It's also got some plastic clips, and you just take it off, and there's a bolt under there. It's a 10mm, and you gotta unscrew it, and it threads into this second part. So to get this off, I've never seen this before, to get this off, you gotta undo this bolt. So I just wanted to make a note of that, because it took me a minute to figure out. All right, guys, so I'm taking this whole assembly off. It's like one big assembly. You're gonna wanna undo this power steering line here. Mine did not leak, but yours might, so you might wanna get a drip pan underneath. It's a 13 There's 4 bolts. I've got 3 out already. They're all somewhere on this assembly. 3 of them are really easy. Actually, they're all easy. The front 2 are obvious, and then you gotta feel around for the bottom 2. But just so you know, there's 4. It took a minute to find, and then this whole assembly will come off. And you're gonna need, there's a couple, you'll need an extension, not for the top 2, but for the bottom 2, you will need an extension to get a good angle. You're also gonna wanna disconnect this hose right here that I have not done yet, but you are gonna wanna do that in the process. There we go. She's loose.
All right, so we got this pulley assembly off. It was right here. It has 3 bolts. One is at the very bottom. It's pretty easy to get to from underneath. One there, one there. It was pretty easy to get to. And then this 4th one is behind the pulley. So you'll have to get a 9/16 and detension that pulley, and then get a ratchet and socket and extensions and get back in there. Then after you get all those 4 off, it should just pop right off. That's pretty much it.
This just in, got oil all on my hair. No matter what I do, every time I work on something, I get freaking oil or transmission fluid or something in my hair. Oh my God. I literally thought I had it in the creeper the whole time. I was actively trying to avoid this, but.
All right, so we cleared out pretty much everything on this side. This is the driver's side. We're gonna take these valve covers off now, and that will get us to the head studs. So there's 10 bolts around the edges. They're 1/2 inch. You also gotta get this, it sends oil to your air filter, I don't know what to call it, and that will allow you to get to one of the bolts. And then I guess I'll be back after we get those 10 bolts out. All right, so we're down below. This is the header. You gotta get these 2 flange bolts off. There's one up top and one lower. They're kind of hard to get to. In our case, both of them have rounded out, so we're having to sawzall them off. This bottom one you can get an angle grinder on. The top one we're having to use a sawzall, so it's taking a little longer. In a lot of cases, these exhaust bolts do get very rusty and are almost impossible to get off in one piece, but they're easy to replace bolts. We're just gonna replace them in our case.
All right, guys, so we've gotten our valve covers off. We're working on getting all this nonsense taken off. But look at these rocker arms. They are nasty, dude. They are, I don't know how this thing was even running the way we're looking at it, but you know, they're boogered up, but you know, with a clean, we'll clean them up and see if they're reusable since we're already replacing so much stuff. But you've got, for your head stud bolts, you've got 1 on this corner, 1 on the back corner, and then 2, 2, and 2, and that's gonna be 8. But then under this injector wiring, you've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 for a grand total of 12. So we're working on, right now, we're taking these injector controllers off. And so that's what it's gonna look like once you get it off. It's a T20. They're not torqued down, so you should not have a hard problem. See, this one right here was super boogered up, and we still got it out easy. We'll end up either cleaning or replacing that. But you just take these clips off, pull them out, get these out, and we're gonna continue to disassemble this until we can get to these bolts, and then the head will be off. And for these exhaust manifolds, we ended up, you guys might have better luck on this driver's side. We had, you can get to these front 4 here pretty easily from this side, and then from the underside, if you can get your studs loose, it'll be way easier to get them from the underside. For this, we had bolts that were rusted, rounding off, so we ended up cutting them at the flange, and then once we get the head, we're gonna leave the headers on and then take them off with the heads, where they will then be easily accessible, where we can extract those and replace what needs to be replaced. And on this other side, we had the same issue. Everything's boogered up. We're gonna be cleaning that. And we also had the same exhaust issue. So on both sides, these headers they're gonna come out with the heads. But we did find that everything, all these valve covers, to avoid taking this AC box out, if you come in through the fender well and take that fender well out, turn your wheel, you can work way easier, and that is gonna be the only way besides taking this air box out that you're gonna be able to get to these back valve cover bolts. So that's the way you're gonna wanna do that, and we are gonna keep getting at it and see if we can get any luck.
All right, guys, so we changed our mind. For these back 4 injector bolts, it is very hard to get them without, like we're using this and we still can't get to them. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these 2 bolts out of this airbox side portion, and that should give us enough clearance with this little ratchet and this T20 bit to get in there and get those bolts out. And then everything else should come out with enough clearance on that back side. But yeah, we're gonna do that and we should be able to get everything out and done pretty quick. Once you get the injector control module off, you'll be looking at this plate. This is your top of your injector. You got this little piece above it. It's got an Allen key, 1 Allen key screw. You will want to take that off, and then you'll be looking at a bolt above and a bolt below. You are going to want to undo those. You'll need a normal socket. The size for that is a 5/16. You just undo those 2 screws, and then you should be able to gently pry below on that metal plate, and that'll pop your whole injector out. And you're going to want to do that for all 4. The reason we take the injector control module off is so you don't accidentally hit the plug for it, because that is very easy to happen. So it's just safer to take it out. It's not necessary, but we decided to do it so we don't have to replace them. All right guys, so we got all the injectors out. Next step's gonna be getting the rocker arms out and the rods. We're gonna wanna keep all this in order as it comes out, know which piston it goes to. To get the rocker arms off, we're gonna need an 8mm socket. It's gonna have to be a 12 point. They shouldn't be torqued down too tight. All these loosened up pretty easy. Then after that, we're gonna take the head studs out and we should be able to pull them out. To pull them out, we're gonna use a engine hoist. These things are pretty heavy. They're about 120 pounds each. It's recommended to use something because it is gonna be very difficult to lift these things out of here by hand. So we're gonna use a engine hoist. But yeah, I'll get back to you when we start that.